Hi, everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hun.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. Today on F-Bomb, we're heading to one of the most haunted little slices of paradise here in the Great Lakes, Mackinac Island. Yeah, the same island you probably associate with fudge, horse-drawn carriages, and picture-perfect Victorian hotels. But behind all that sweet fudge, saltwater taffy, and tourist charm, there's some seriously creepy shit lurking in the shadows. From restless soldiers still guarding the old forts, to phantom footsteps in the historic hotels, to whispers echoing across the bluffs at night. This island is basically the Midwest's own Gothic ghost story. Imagine a place where time seems to stand still. An island that rises from the waters of Lake Huron like a great turtle. Its back covered in forest, its shores kissed by waves. For centuries, long before ferry boats and fudge shops, Mackinac Island was a sacred place to the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples. They called it Mackinac, which means the Great Turtle, and believed it was a powerful spiritual center, a place where the earth and the spirit world touched. When French explorers and fur traders arrived in the 1600s, they found a thriving hub of native trade and culture. Jesuit missionaries followed, bringing Christianity, but it was the fur trade that transformed the island into a vital crossroads. Beaver pelts from across the Great Lakes passed through Mackinac, and alliances were forged between French traders and native nations. The British took over in the mid-1700s after defeating the French, and in 1780, they built Fort Mackinac high on the island's bluff to better guard their hold on the straits. But history shifted again, and the island was handed to the young United States in 1796. But that peace was short-lived. When the War of 1812 erupted, the British struck quickly, seizing Mackinac without a single shot being fired. 2 years later, American forces attempted to take it back in the Battle of Mackinac Island, or as they say, Mackinac.
Mackinac.
I don't like to say it that way, so I'm not gonna.
No.
Nope. But failed. Only with the war's end was the island restored to American hands. In the early 1800s, Mackinac became the headquarters of John Jacob Astor's American Fur Company. I'm just going to stop for a second.
Yeah.
Wasn't John Jacob Astor on the Titanic? The Astors?
I don't. Well, maybe.
I'm thinking so.
I don't know. Kind of reminds me of John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. His name is my name, too.
Okay. I'm going to get back to the story.
Okay.
All right, so John Jacob Astor's American Fur Company, making it one of the most important fur trade centers in North America. But as fashions changed and the fur trade declined, the island's economy shifted. Fishing, shipping, and eventually something new: tourism. By the late 1800s, Mackinac was reinventing itself as one of America's first great summer resorts. Wealthy families from Chicago, Detroit, and beyond traveled by steamer to breathe the fresh northern air. The Grand Hotel, opened in 1887, stood as a dazzling crown jewel of this new era. Around the same time, something unusual happened. Automobiles were banned from the island. Horses, carriages, and bicycles would remain the way of life. Today, Mackinac Island is more than just a tourist destination. It's a living museum, a place where native legends, colonial wars, fur trade fortunes, and Victorian elegance all overlap. Walk its street and you will walk through centuries of history. An island forever caught between the past and the present, with a past this rich, sacred native ground, bloody battles, soldiers, fur traders, and Victorian vacationers. It's no surprise that Mackinac Island has more than its fair share of lingering spirits. The history may be written in books, but many say the ghosts of the island are still telling their own stories. Perched high on a limestone bluff overlooking the harbor, Fort Mackinac has flown the American flag since the War of 1812, and many say that not all of the fort's residents were willing to leave when their time came. Visitors to the officers' quarters tell of footsteps echoing down hallways long after the fort is closed for the night. Guards patrolling have reported the sound of boots striking the stone parade ground, only to turn and find themselves alone. Some claim it's the ghost of a British sentry still faithfully pacing his post more than 2 centuries later. Inside the old hospital wing, the atmosphere is thick and oppressive. Nurses during the Civil War converted the building into a military hospital. Soldiers suffering from diseases like typhoid and dysentery filled the wards. Guests sometimes describe sudden chills, the smell of antiseptic, or even the faint groans of the sick. A few swear they have glimpsed a gaunt figure in a faded uniform seated on a cot, only to have it vanish when approached. Perhaps the most chilling stories of Fort Mackinac come from the guardhouse, where the prisoners were once locked away. Staff members cleaning in the evening have heard heavy breathing in the cells or a voice muttering unintelligibly from the darkness. In the 1800s, executions by firing squad occasionally took place here. Some say that the condemned still linger, reliving their last moments as the walls absorb their despair. If Fort Mackinac is haunted by echoes of daily military life, then Fort Holmes is haunted by war itself. Originally named Fort George by the British, this small stronghold was built atop the island's highest point. In 1814, it became the site of a brutal clash during the War of 1812. American forces attempted to retake Mackinac Island from the British and their native allies. As the Americans advanced, they were ambushed in the dense forest, and many fell before even reaching the fort. The hillside ran red with blood as musket fire thundered. When the smoke cleared, dozens of soldiers lay dead. Many were hastily buried in shallow graves on the slopes below the fort. Local lore insists that their spirits still wander. Campers who have spent the night nearby describe hearing musket volleys in the darkness or shouts of men in agony. Hikers have reported the feeling of being watched and the sounds of twigs snapping as if unseen troops march alongside them. One story tells of a young tourist in the 1930s who climbed up the ruins at dusk. As he sat among the crumbling earthworks, he noticed figures in old-fashioned uniforms moving silently through the trees. Believing he stumbled upon a historical reenactment, he called out. But the soldiers did not respond. Instead, they faded into the mist, leaving him shaken and alone on the summit. More than one caretaker has spoken of strange lights at night over Fort Holmes, lanterns bobbing as if carried by ghostly patrols. Others believe the ground itself is restless, the unmarked graves of the fallen never truly at peace. On certain quiet nights, visitors have claimed to hear drum beats drifting from the fort, mingled with the low notes of a bugle call. Yet no reenactments and no musicians are present. Could it be echoes of centuries-old garrison life still playing out on an endless loop? Some storytellers say that the ghosts of the forts are not malicious, but instead guardians. After all, Fort Holmes and Fort Mackinac were places of defense, protection, and watchfulness. The sentries who pace the walls, the officers who stride the barracks, and the soldiers who patrol the woods may simply be continuing their eternal duty to watch over the island. Aside of the stirring encounter of apparitions of the forts, here are a few more notable haunts of the island. At the Mission Point Resort, formerly an old 1950s theater and later Mackinac College campus in the 1960s, there is a ghost of a former student named Harvey. The island's most famous ghost is said to flirt, poke, or jostle guests, especially women, around the theater and resort's main corridors. Accounts vary on his death, such as suicide or possible foul play after a failed romance. But multiple guides and write-ups place his presence in the theater seating, backstage, and upper floors. Common witness reports state feeling cold drafts, hearing whispers, having mattress jumps, and feeling bed sheets being tugged on at night. Ooh, I don't like that.
Wouldn't it be freaky?
I don't like that. A story that we've covered on F-Bomb previously was about the drowning pool, a long-told legend that says 7 women were accused of witchcraft and persecuted and executed in the cove between Mission Point and downtown. Many visitors claim to hear splashing, see rings of water form on windless nights, or feel a churning, cold sensation. The Grand Hotel, built in 1887, is said to have 2 resident spirits. Guests and staff have reported a cigar-smoking gentleman wearing a top hat and evening attire near the bar and piano, and a little girl that drifts along the 4th floor halls. Maintenance workers also tell of a darker presence lurking in the back of the house area, a dark mass with red eyes. Persistent island lore claims many human bones were unearthed in the foundation and nearby sites during the 19th century building and later work, feeding the haunting narrative. Then we have little Lucy, the island wanderer. She is described as a curly-haired little girl in a light dress, reported across multiple sites, such as stairs at Crow's Nest Trail by Anne's Tablet, peeking from Pine Cottage windows, and sometimes trailing behind tour groups before vanishing. Sightings tend to cluster at twilight. And so, as the sun sets over the Straits of Mackinac and the shadows grow long, remember, this island never truly sleeps. Its history may be written, but its ghosts still wander. Mackinac Island's beauty is undeniable, but behind the charm and the fudge shops lies a much older truth. A place layered with memory, legend, and spirits that refuse to be forgotten. History isn't just in the past here. Oh no, it walks beside you. Well, I really enjoyed this story, hon.
Yes, it was fun. I love Mackinac Island. And I always said it in my head, every year I want to go to Mackinac Island every summer. Just like we did when we were kids. My parents always took round up all 5 of us kids, and we always went to Mackinac Island. And since an adult, I've always wanted to go every summer. It doesn't always happen. It's been a while. I need to go back.
Well, it's been a few years,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
When Sue was here, we all went up.
Yep.
Well, geez, that's freaking 4 years ago
4
by now.
years ago, yeah. We need another trip.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. It is magical. It's mystical. It's an island. And it's always so fun when you get close to seeing, because all of a sudden you start to see water, right? Because you're going up and down the hills. And you're like, oh my God, there's the bridge.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody's so excited.
Yep.
I love it.
That whole area is really cool. You got Mackinac City, you got St. Ignace, you got Mackinac Island. It's just a beautiful gem on top of the Michigan finger.
It really is. And, you know, what's interesting is it's very old up there.
Yeah.
You're not going to find new fancy hotels.
Right.
You're not going to find them.
Yep.
You're not going to find a Marriott.
Which just adds to the charm, too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And it's really cool because there's several, like I know on St. Ignace, it's an older, I don't know, maybe 1-story hotel. But you have, these big sliding glass doors.
Right.
Or a door, whatever, and it's all facing Lake Huron. Because Lake Huron is on the east side of
Yep.
Michigan, which is where the island is located.
Right.
And the only way to get there is by ferry.
Yeah. Which is fun, too.
Yeah. And just a nice little tip, if anybody goes to, if anybody's going to go to Mackinac Island, I highly, highly suggest taking the ferry from St. Ignace, because it's only the ferry from St. Ignace within a certain time frame, like in the morning to like maybe noon or 1, maybe noon, is the only ferry that will take you, instead of going directly to the island, it will take you around and back and under Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, it does a little loop under the bridge and then back again.
And that's a sight to see.
It's remarkable.
That bridge is massive.
It is massive.
It's 5 miles.
It's 5 miles long.
And the big Mackinac Walk just happened, too.
Yep.
It's 10 miles because they walk across and then walk back.
Well, that was just last weekend.
It was just like last weekend. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Never done that. My cousins do that.
Yeah.
Every year. It's a family thing they do.
We did the bike ride around the island.
Right. So we know around the perimeter.
Yeah, 8.2 miles.
8.2 miles. And if you go, there's lots of little trails, paved trails, that go cut across the island, that kicks your ass.
Right.
Because you got to go up some big hills.
Yeah. And riding those tandem bikes does not make it easier.
I don't recommend it. Don't do it. Just get your own bike. Because it's a real bitch. It makes you feel like you never knew how to ride a bike.
Yeah, especially if your partner on your bike is not pulling their weight.
It doesn't matter, even if they are.
Right.
Because Sue and I did it, and it was hard as shit.
Yeah.
It was not easy. And you can't keep that baby straight. You always feel like you're going to fall.
Right. Oh, so the John Astor that you were talking of, John Jacob Astor.
You looked it up?
I looked it up. So the one you're speaking of, the one that died on the Titanic, is John Jacob Astor IV, who is the great-grandson of John Jacob Astor, the founder of the American Fur Company.
Okay, because I knew there was a freaking Astor.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah, but he had big bucks, so that family money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fur trading, they made a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking that up.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what? Because I recognized that name as well, and it just now dawned on me when you said something about it. But
Yeah.
now, when we went to Mackinac last, remember we went to Fort Mackinac.
Mm-hmm. Was that free? Did we pay to get in there?
I'm sure we had.
Because that was before the bridge, actually. Yeah, that was before the bridge.
Yep.
That was nice.
Right. But I don't think I'll ever look at Mackinac Island the same again after all this information that I just learned.
Me either. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, my dad took my sister and I, and we went into the big Fort Mackinac.
Right.
Fort Mackinac. And they have reenactments. Everyone's dressed in that era. And then they fire off the muzzle loaders, right? That's a must-see.
That's a must-see.
Yeah, I recommend getting all... I mean, yeah, it costs money, but whatevs.
Yeah, it's cool.
Spend the money.
Right.
Do every bit of it, especially if you're not from Michigan, or even if you are.
And I definitely want to do the haunted tours because they give a lot of information. I think they would just be so cool.
I didn't even know they did haunted tours.
I didn't either until I started digging into it. We should add that in the show notes too, because there's a company that does the.
We'll put a hyperlink in for tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Somewhere in Time was filmed there with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
That's right at the Grand Hotel.
It sure was, and so that's always cool because I watched that movie with my mother.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you how many times.
Speaking of the Grand Hotel and mothers, my mom used to work there for a time. She was head of housekeeping for a while there.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
And I've stayed there, and I want to talk about that. So I've stayed in the Grand Hotel, and it used to be very, very strict. It's very old school.
Yeah.
Okay? Very old school. Dinner is very dressy, and it's only been within the last, 10, 12 years that women were allowed to go to dinner in dress pants. There are no jeans allowed. But before that, women had to wear dresses.
Well, that's good that the times have changed a little bit.
And men had to wear jackets and ties. It was very, very much classy dinner.
Right.
Like, it was no joke. And the dining room is so massive. It is the largest covered porch in the world, maybe.
You are correct. It features the world's longest front porch.
Right, the world's longest front covered porch, right?
Yes, it is a covered 660-foot long front porch with rocking chairs.
That's right.
Offering panoramic views of the Straits of Mackinac and of the Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, it's definitely something to see. I love it there. But anyway, another thing that I wanted to say is, when I stayed there, I just took off on my own and I just started exploring because I'd been there on trips like in high school with the band and all that. And we couldn't get in. You cannot get into the hotel if you're not a guest.
Right.
So let's make that clear. You can't just tromp up there. You can get on the grounds. You can walk all over the grounds if you want. But you cannot get into the hotel. So you can go onto the porch. You can do that. But anyway, so as I was climbing around, I was like, oh, there's a bar way up here. That's cool. But all along the way, as I'm, going up the steps, because it's, it's old. So it's a place where the pipes are not covered, right?
Yep.
They're exposed. So that's pretty unique. But there's pictures. because when the hotel was built, it's not what you see today.
Right.
It was a much smaller place. And then they added years later, and then years later, and so it is now what it is now. But that's not how it started.
Right.
They build it as, how, I don't know how big it was, but I remember seeing the pictures and I was like, oh my God, that looks weird. Because my entire life, right, of course, all I know is how it looks now.
Right.
So I found that very interesting. And of course, we know there's some pretty old cemeteries
Yeah.
that you find once you start exploring inside of the island.
Yeah. There's so much history there. So
Yeah.
much history. And the museums are super cool. All the shops are super cool. It's busy. It's busy. Summertime is crazy on the island.
Yeah, and you can get good deals at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's the time to go. You have the fall colors. There's a golf course right there too.
Right.
At the hotel.
Yeah, it's actually not far from the battlefield of 1812. Well, 1814, but the War of 1812. The battlefield is like right next to the golf course.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. And I want to talk about no automation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's the charm. But I and Todd will tell you all that it does smell like horse urine and poop. Because it's nothing but horses.
Horses, yep.
Horse and buggy,
bikes.
or just horses by themselves.
Yeah, but luckily the fudge covers up that smell a lot.
Kinda. When you're in front of the shop, yeah. Sure.
But I will wait in line for some of that fudge. That is the best
Everybody
fudge
does.
in the world.
It's so smooth and creamy.
Oh my gosh. And how many is there? There's got to be.
There's a lot of fudge shops along downtown.
Yeah.
The other thing I really love about the horse and buggies for the Grand Hotel is they're quite fancy.
They are fancy.
They are fancy. You have, I don't know what you call it, the stage coaches, the people.
Yeah.
Stagecoach.
Carriage.
They're dressed very well, and the top hats, and they even do, nights or certain times of the year where when you stay at the hotel, it's garb night. Like everybody is dressed.
Oh yeah.
In the 1800s.
Yeah.
Garb.
Yeah. It's so cool.
It's unique.
I think we ought to go on a ghost hunt there.
I think we ought to go on a ghost hunt with our friends.
Yeah, our friends from Crossroads of Curiosity. Maybe we can team up with them and see if they want to take a little trip with us.
That would be fun. Get out at night and explore.
Yeah. Get some fudge. All I can think about is that fudge.
I know.
I love the fudge. I love the fudge. I love being at the water, on the shore, just the views, the fresh air. I love northern Michigan. So
I do
beautiful.
too. There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
But I wouldn't want to be up there in the winter.
Yeah, and I don't know. I might get a little freaked out if we do encounter some ghosts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So, like in the wintertime, so the island is very touristy, as we mentioned in the show. And people come from all over the state, sometimes out of state, to work there for the summer. And then, of course, the majority of people are gone. They ship the horses back, right? Because they bring all the horses in for the season, and then they take all the horses out for the season.
Right.
And there are diehard people who actually do live on that island all year long.
Yeah.
And in order to get their supplies, they have to have snowmobiles to cross the lake.
Yeah.
That right there would freeze me half to death.
Yes, it's cold. I mean,
I couldn't imagine.
There's nothing to stop that wind either. So it's whatever the temperature is.
Oof.
Drop it even more.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Yeah. The other thing I did want to say about automation, I shiny balled it for a second, is there are a few automobiles on the island. They have emergency services.
Oh, they do. I didn't know that.
Yep. They have some form of a fire truck.
They have an
ambulance.
Airport there, so I think they can, medevac.
Yeah, I don't know where that would be, but those are hidden. You're never going to see those unless you're the one that's in need of an emergency situation.
Right.
I want to talk about the drowning pool for a minute.
Okay.
I've had a few listeners One in particularly said a very, not very nice comment. That we're lying. It's a lie. That story doesn't exist. Another person said, well, I can't find any historical information on that. So what do you have to say about that, huh?
Well, it's not a lie. It's one of the things that the show is about. It's folklore. It's a legend that's been passed on through generations. Whether it's real or not, that is for the listener to decide, or the person that wants to pursue it and dig more into it. These are stories. Some of them are based on true accounts. Some of them are just based on storytelling.
Right. And the other thing that you mentioned to me the other day is if something like that did happen, right? Because let's think about it. That was back when, was it when the British occupied the island?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's to say they didn't destroy historical records?
Right. It's not something to be particularly proud of.
Yeah. They're in control of the island and in control of the situation.
Right.
So I just wanted to talk about that for just a minute because I think some people are looking for concrete evidence documented, and sometimes you're not always going to find it.
You're not always going to find that historical document that proves everything to be true, and that's one of the intriguing things about folklore, because I do believe everything is based on some truth, maybe not all the truth.
Right.
Maybe fabricated sometimes, maybe twisted, maybe retold differently a few times. But it's all entertaining, and it's all a story to tell, and all a story to learn from.
Agreed. So I just wanted to clear that up
Right.
a little bit.
Yeah.
People should be nice.
People should be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Take a
Take
break.
a deep breath.
Put your feet up.
It's not a big deal.
And have a lemon iced tea.
Have a lemon tea, would ya? Well, it's a great story, hon, and I thank you because I learned a thing or two about a thing or two.
I did too. And I cannot wait to go back again and step back in time, because you're immersed. You can't help but fall back into history while you're there.
Yeah, it is definitely stepping back. And it's nice in this hustling, bustling world to actually go somewhere where it's not, now granted, there's thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people, especially when you hit it in ripe tourist season.
Right.
So again, I highly recommend going in the fall.
Right.
Because that's nice.
It's nice, yeah.
It's busy, but it's still not as busy. And you're going to have to make those reservations way ahead of time.
That's right.
Plan ahead. Make it a memorable trip. Get your ass to Mackinac. No, thank you, hon.
You're welcome, love.
Well, you want to sign us out?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I find a bunch of fudge under that bed, I'm taking it.
Hey, and we're just a week away from our live show at Awaken Haunted Attraction in Leslie, Michigan. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you better get on it.
Get on it. Those seats are filling up.
That's right. It's going to be a great time, a great night. I'm so excited for it. Got lots of friends, lots of fans coming. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And when I tell you, this is going to be a live podcast show like no one's ever seen before, I mean it.
It's true.
I've seen some YouTubers out there, YouTube videos of some live podcast shows, and they ain't got nothing on us.
They ain't got nothing.
Nah, we're doing 3 shows. Our stage is going to be phenomenal.
Exactly.
And we got some killer merch.
We got some killer merch, too.
And when I say killer merch, I mean killer merch. Ain't nobody got no merch like us.
Ain't nobody got merch like the Malice.
That's right. So get online, get those tickets, and come hang out with us because it is going to be a fantastic show.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And we'll see you again on Malice Monday.
We'll see you on Monday.